Safety messages can be found all around this site. What was once Spencer Shops, Southern Railway's steam locomotive repair facility, the most obvious of which, be careful. On buildings, on railroad cars, there were constant reminders for workers to be safe. And all in all, Spencer Shops had a good safety record for the potentially dangerous work being done. There was a safety committee and competitions were even held between staff members. Most accidents were an inconvenience, sometimes minor, sometimes major, and sometimes deadly. One of the worst and most spectacular accidents happened right in this area in 1908. It was October 1st. It was 3 years after the back shop had been built. There was a transfer table here. Next to that, a blacksmith shop. A small building, the powder house, was also nearby. It held explosives, railroad fuses, and flares, very necessary, but all highly combustible. It was around 5 p.m. during a shift change when a caboose caught fire on the siding near the blacksmith shop. A later investigation called it spontaneous combustion. Now, since it was during a shift change, the normal fire brigade response that would have typically arrived was limited. 2 men were on the scene almost immediately, Charles Layton and George Gould. They grabbed a fire hose and started to douse the caboose. A third man was headed toward the scene. John Crowell spotted smoke coming from the powder house roof. A spark from that caboose had apparently lit that building on fire also. Crowell turned to run as the powder house exploded, and it did so in spectacular fashion. Half of the blacksmith shop was taken out. All the windows on this side of the back shop blown out. Windows across the street in the town of Spencer also blown out, and that blast was felt from miles away. In all, 20 people were injured. Crowell, running from the explosion, was thrown several feet through the air. Layton and Gould, the first to arrive, were both killed, buried in the rubble. One other worker who had been standing nearby later died of injuries sustained in the explosion. In addition to the loss of human life, property damage reached into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that was in 1908. Work at Spencer Shops was also halted for a time. A lesson was learned, however. When the powder house was rebuilt, it was placed on the far north end of the property, far away from tracks and other structures. Continue to learn at home with other great videos from the North Carolina Transportation Museum on Facebook, YouTube, and nctrans.org. The North Carolina Transportation Museum in Spencer is the museum that moves you.